Hey everyone, Noble Comics here with a Bloodshot movie review. Now, Bloodshot is one of those characters who I know I've read some Bloodshot comics from like mid 2000 series, kind of after Valiant rebooted themselves. And I like the character, but I never knew a ton about them. So going into this, I knew basically the basics. And I want to say that I was very pleasantly surprised. I know it didn't get great reviews. But I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was a good throwback to kind of 90s style action, just like the comic is kind of a throwback to the 90s style action in comics. It was a little cheesy at times, but I feel like that kind of kept pace with the kind of movie that it was. You know, it's kind of what I expected. And, got popcorn action flick, I'd say. Pretty good. Yeah, spoilers, by the way. I'm going to get into spoiling this thing. So, starting in the beginning, I guess, opens up with, a pretty awesome action scene as he's storming this house, killing these terrorists. And overall, the action was very good. I was very surprised. The choreography was awesome. Whenever the chick's fighting, who has to breathe through her little breathing device, that was not great. Thought it, there was like a cut every few seconds. They cut. Wasn't a very smooth fight scene. Kind of like Black Widow in the Marvel movies. But the action overall was very good. Um, the plot was really good. I think the idea that he's this soldier who they keep reviving and they keep wiping his memory, and they're oh, these people killed your wife. You need to go kill them. So he'll just go take out all their enemies because they're just messing with his memories. That was really cool. It wasn't really a twist because they showed that off in the trailer, but I thought it was also, very interesting. The villains, I think, were probably the weakest part about it. I mean, it was a pretty standard first movie villain, you know. I don't even remember the guy's name. The other two villains, because you have the main guy who's running the whole operation. He's the head of the company making all these future tech for all these different wounded soldiers. And then he has these little soldiers underneath him that he has do his bidding. There's the guy with the robotic legs, and later he gets like those little arm attachments. The chick who uses the breathing device, and then the blind guy who has the like 360 sight built into him now. And they were cool. They were cool enough, it had a good combination of sort of military and superhero. So, if you're a fan of either genre, I think there's something here to be found that'll probably interest you. But, it was a solid action flick for sure. The fight scenes, the action was all very good. The big fight scene, the first big fight scene where they're in the underpass and all the lights go out, that flower truck crashes, and you have the flares on the ground and all that flour in the air, and it's just very cool visual of like that red smoke and while he's kicking butt. That was very good. The dialogue and everything, I think, was a little clunky. I think that might just be because it's Vin Diesel. It was a little clunky at times. But again, I imagined it as if it was on the page of a comic book, and it all sounded a lot better if you read it that way than actually just listening to it. The only complaint I really have, other than just kind of like all around, it's a lower quality superhero movie. Obviously, it's Valiant Comics. It's not Marvel Comics. But really, I wish that they had Bloodshot be in his sort of the form we see him in the comics more, which is the white skin and the red eyes, like the image you see here. They have it briefly at the end when sort of his nanites go into overdrive and he, is at his most powerful. So I hope if they do further Bloodshot movies, they'll sort of continue that and maybe have him in that more often. Which I hope it does make enough money to warrant a sequel and sort of a broader Valiant universe. That'd be very nice. I'd love to see a little bit of variety with the movies, just like the variety in the comics. I think they provided a good. Nowadays, their comics aren't that great, but there's a brief run in 2000s where their stuff was really good. Um, but overall, I really enjoyed it. I think it hit a good combination of sort of that military style and superhero style movie. Action was all very good. It looked better than I expected, like I said. I thought the visuals were going to be kind of bad. No, it all looked very good to me. It was very fun, a very fun movie. Minimal problems. I think the plot was simple enough to where it's hard to screw up. There was maybe some logical fallacies here and there, but again, it's a comic book movie. Of course there are. The villains, kind of weak, but at the same time, they were fine, and they kept with sort of the pace of the hero and the story. Uh, Vin Diesel, I'll say, plays this role very well. I thought he might be too old at this point to play a Bloodshot. He still looks great. I think he made a great superhero. Any action scene he was part of was awesome. I mean, he really kicked butt. They really did a good job with that. And it actually surprised me too how many different action set pieces they had. Uh, Big action fight scenes and everything like that. Because remember, Deadpool was also sort of this lower quality movie, or like lower budget, and so they had like two major fight scenes in areas that they worked within. This movie's got, its fair share. There's the, I guess, opening scene in that little Middle Eastern town. There's, I guess, the main set of where they live, that little compound they're in. There's the set underneath the overpass that they fight in. There's the big elevator fight. There's the fight whenever they're going to, what was that guy's name? It's like Britain, whatever his name was, the big bearded guy who went and killed. There's quite a few scenes and sets, and they all look good. I thought all supporting characters were good. That chick that he partners up with, she turns on the evil guy. She decides to work with Bloodshot. I thought she was pretty good. I hadn't seen her in anything else before this, but I liked her. I think she had a solid combination of, playing the role of like the attractive side character, but also can be pretty kick-ass, kind of like a Gal Gadot kind of thing. And then there was Wiggins, who was the like super genius who helped reprogram his nanites and everything, so he wouldn't be under control of the Rising Phoenix Corporation. And I thought he was kind of annoying, just because he talks so much, and he would like. They did it a few times where he's like talking while he's eating. It's kind of like that SJW food humor where it's like, it's funny because he's eating while he's talking. It's like kind of stupid humor. So that was kind of annoying. But overall, it was fine. I didn't mind too much. So the supporting characters were good. Vin Diesel was an awesome lead. Guy Pearce was another. Seems to always be the villain. He was a, decent villain. Pretty run of the mill, but again, like the main problem with this movie is probably that it's just too average. It's too, run of the mill. Probably its biggest problem is just being run of the mill. But again, for Valiant, it seems like they're kind of doing a safe play, where it's like, well, we can make a good action movie. It doesn't have to change the world. It's just got to get people in the seats, and I feel like it could do it. It's definitely good enough to get people in the seats, even though box office wasn't great, which I'll check out here in a minute. But yeah, good movie. I think it's definitely worth a watch. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and check it out. Nothing more to say about it. Let's look at the box office breakdown. So, domestic opening weekend looks like we had 9,300,000, which that's not great. Here it has a total as 10 million 500,000. And then international, another 15 million. So opening worldwide, opening weekend, which this is, the Monday after it comes out, is 25 million, 25.6 million. Now you can see their budget was 45 million, and then the general rule of thumb is double the budget, and that's the true cost of the movie, because the same amount you'd put into the budget is the amount that goes into advertising. So assume about $90 million were put into the making of this movie. And then you got a 25.6 million opening weekend. That's not great. This is going to be the biggest bump. It's only going to go lower and lower from here unless maybe some word of mouth gets a good second wind. I'm not sure. But getting to 90 million from here might be kind of difficult. I hope they do it though, because if they can at least break even, if they can have some change left over that could hopefully go towards, one of their other characters, if it's Ninjak or Exo Man of War, something like that, might just be worth it. But the question is whether or not they're going to be able to make their money back in a big enough way to make another movie. Let's hope so. I mean, a 10 million for an indie superhero movie, that's not terrible. Pretty low budget too. So hopefully they can make their money back, and they'll be able to make a second Bloodshot, expand the Valiant universe, kind of make their own movies. I think that'd be pretty awesome. I think it'd be a decent competition. Maybe not competition, but at least it would be something different from the Marvel movies, because DC, obviously, they don't know what they're doing when it comes to their movies, so we can't rely on them. But hopefully Valiant could give us a little something different, because this movie was a little bit more mature. It's still rated PG-13, but it was a little bit more mature than, your average Marvel movie for sure. Quite a bit of violence, quite a bit of, not gore, but, blood and getting shot and getting killed. There's a brief scene containing some nudity, nothing full frontal, obviously it's PG-13. But, it's had a bit more mature tone. And I think if Valiant can pull off a bit, a little bit more mature without doing like the stupid DC stuff where they're trying to be super dark and gritty. No, I think they've cornered the market so far. If they can keep this up, they'll do well. But yeah, it was good. It was fun. It didn't blow me away, but I had a really good time watching it. It felt like a throwback to a simpler time. Definitely check it out. It's worth your time. And that will do it for this video. Let me know what you guys think. If you've seen it, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. Remember to like and subscribe. See you guys in the next video.